Since 1967, Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley, has been where to go for all your building projects. Let Gerald Schmidt help you with designing, remodeling, or any new construction. Schmidt Construction specializes in residential home building, agricultural, industrial, and commercial buildings. With expert advice on all of your building projects and ideas, when you hire a contractor to take care of your building needs, you can't do better than Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley. 320-384-7901.
Minnesota. It's home. Hot summers at the lake, beautiful falls, snowy winters, and rainy springs. We experience it all. Make sure you're ready to handle whatever this state throws at you with help from Minnesota Equipment in Isani. Minnesota Equipment carries brands you love, like John Deere, Steel, Toro, Gravely zero-turn mowers, and Aaron snowblowers. Their helpful staff can not only get you the equipment you need, but can help you maintain it so it will last. Plus, they carry a full line of farm equipment. Minnesota Equipment in Isani. Online at minnesotaequipment.com.
Welcome into WCMP's production of high school basketball. And now let's head to the court with Game Day Gilman.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to a broadcast of girls basketball right here on WCMP. I'm Ethan Game Day Gilman, and I'll be bringing you all the action from tonight's girls basketball game between the Pine City Dragons and the visiting Foley Falcons. This, a Section 6 AA matchup, and it seems like these last couple of games that I have been at and have been a part of calling, it seems like we've been having non-stop Section 6 AA action, whether it's in the boys or girls side of basketball. It has been a fun stretch of games here this past week or so, and man, has the action been intense, and I have just been so happy to be a part of it, and it's been so exciting to be a part of, because again, just watching these teams, knowing what's at stake, putting everything they can on the line to help their team get the victory, important wins here late in the season is just so fun because they lay it out all on the line, and especially at this point of the season, it feels like the intensity is just stepped up a couple more notches. Looking at this game between the Foley Falcons and the Pine City Dragons at the Section 6 AA standings, Foley right now is in second place in the section, right behind Albany. Pine City in fifth, behind, of course, Albany, Foley, Sauk Center, and Holdingford. Now, right now, points-wise, Pine City, they sit with 89, Holdingford with 99. So they are 10 points behind fourth place in Holdingford. But with a win here tonight over the second-placed Foley Falcons, who have a point total of 116.5, they could really help themselves shoot up the board, maybe even overcome Holdingford. Like Kyle Allen said, the head coach of the Pine City Dragons boys basketball team in our interview for the Coach's Corner on Saturday, he said, only one person knows the formula to that, and no one else understands it. And I'm not going to try and explain it because I don't even know how it goes, but Pine City 10 points behind Holdingford, and you would think a win over Foley tonight, who is not only in their section, but it's in second place in the section, would help them, would boost their points, but it all depends on who Holdingford is playing tonight as well, because if they win, well, then they'll get a couple extra points as well. But Pine City, if they get the win here tonight, I would expect that it would at least help them, push them into fourth place, or at least give them enough points to where they could be close. Taking a look at who Holdingford is playing tonight, they're playing Albany. Albany is first, and Albany always a really good, really tough team here in the section, and just overall a really good girls basketball team. And I expect Holdingford to, looking at the paper-wise and, at Albany, I think Albany's going to win. But that doesn't mean that Holdingford can't come out and get an upset here in tonight's game. That doesn't mean that can't happen at all. I just believe, based on paper-wise, Albany would get the victory here tonight. But if Albany does win and Pine City wins, that would definitely, I think, push Pine City up into the number 4 spot. Now, can they overcome Sauk Center, who's in third with 112 points? That's going to be the interesting part, because why don't we go to the schedules right now, looking at Foley, who's in second place. They still have about 3 conference games left over in the Granite Ridge, Albany, Zimmerman, and Mora. Those are their 3 remaining games, and they could potentially have a shot at least sharing the conference title, if not having it outright. Right now, Albany is on top with a 10-0 record, Foley with an 8-2 conference record. So both have played 10 games, but Foley's going to get a chance, 3 more chances to get wins, and one of them comes against Albany this upcoming Thursday. They'll host them at home. So that's a key game for Foley if they want to try and get their conference crown in the Granite Ridge Conference, because if they can get the win over Albany, then win their next 2 games against Zimmerman and Mora, they'll have a shot at a share of the conference title. They'll need Albany to lose 1 more game in the conference for them to have that chance at sharing the conference title. Of course, they play Holdingford tonight, and then they will play Foley on Thursday. Then they'll play Little Falls and Pierce. So Albany has 4 more conference games, but looking at it, or 3 more, with Holdingford, Foley, Little Falls, and Pierce. I'm all over the board tonight. But they will have 3 more chances, as will Foley, so it's really going to be a tight race. And if Foley can get the win over Albany, and then Albany loses to either Little Falls or Pierce, Foley would have a share of the conference title with Albany. But I think the schedule right now favors Albany to kind of go and win out and go undefeated in the Granite Ridge Conference. But Foley, again, they have had a really good year. They won their first 2 games on the season, then they lost their next 3, but then would go on a nice little win streak of 9 games before going 2-1 or 1-2. They've had those backwards in their next 3, and now they are currently on a 4-game winning streak as of these last 4 games in these last 2 weeks. So a good news for Foley, but again, they have a big game here tonight against Pine City. Looking at Pine City, who comes into the game, Great River Conference champs, 11-0 in the conference, 4-1 in the section, 17-5. They lost on Friday to Chisago Lakes, 56-38. They play Foley here tonight. Then Thursday they will travel to Ogilvie. Then they'll travel up to Proctor on next Tuesday, and then next Thursday they'll travel over to Malacca. Still plenty of chances for them to win and boost their points and get even higher up in the rankings. I don't know if they'll make top 3, but I think they can overcome that 4 spot. That number 3 spot's going to be kind of hard to get to and to take over the lead, because again, the top 5, it is just an absolute battle for who's going to take the 1 through 5 spots. And Pine City Holdingford really close with 10 points. Then after that, they're in the 100. So, but if Pine City gets a win here tonight, that'll definitely, I think, help them, if not push them to that 100-point mark and try and overtake Holdingford at the 4th spot. But then you got Albany, Foley, Sauk Center 1 through 3. So it's going to be tough, not impossible, but Pine City will definitely have to win out, in my opinion, to do that. They'll have to win over Foley for sure, Proctor, and Malacca. Malacca's also a section opponent. Proctor's in Section 7AA. So it's going to be a tough race for the top 5 spots, but it will be a good one as well. And Proctor, they're having a pretty good season. They're ranked 4th in Section 7AA. So it's going to be a fun end to the season, a fun last 4 games for both of these teams, and it'll be interesting to see where they wind up, not only in their conference. Of course, Pine City already won their conference champions, but for Foley, it'll be interesting to see if they can maybe grab a share of that Granite Ridge title, and to see where these teams will end up in seeding-wise for the playoffs. Of course, again, Pine City in that 5th spot, Foley in that number 2 spot, and with a win tonight, Pine City would surely help their case to move up a couple of spots. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll be set for tip-off. We'll have your starting lineups. You're listening to Girls Basketball on WCMP.
Mortgage rates haven't been this low since 2017. Chad Greenway talking Franzen Bank Mortgages. Now is a great time to buy or build your first home, your dream home, or that cabin you've always wanted. Or maybe refinance and lower your monthly payment. The local mortgage experts at Franzen Bank will find an option that best fits your situation, buying, building, or refinancing. Find a Franzen Bank mortgage expert today at franzenbank.com/getthere. Tell them Greenway sent you. Franzen Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is a story we all share, of a place rooted in tradition and rich with opportunity, of people driven by compassion and vision. At Essentia Health, we're proud to play our role in this story, because we know that this place, these people, are like nowhere else. Visit Essentia Health in Hinckley, Sandstone, or our new location in Moose Lake for all your care needs. Schedule an appointment at essentiahealth.org today.
3 words. Sriracha Cheese Curds. Introducing the latest A&W family restaurant side with a kick. Sriracha Cheese Curds have arrived at A&W. We've spiced up our 100% Wisconsin white cheddar cheese curds with just the right amount of sriracha heat. You can enjoy Sriracha Cheese Curds with your favorite A&W combo or on their own. Make sure to cool off the heat with a frosty mug of original A&W root beer. Hurry in, Sriracha Cheese Curds are only available for a limited time at your local A&W family restaurant in Pine City.
Feeling a little cold this winter? Call D&E Heating and Air Conditioning in Hinckley. D&E Heating and Cooling is a local Amana dealer with quality workmanship and superior service. Now scheduling into 2022, D&E is ready to assist you, keeping all your heating and air quality appliances working like they should this winter. Their technicians are dependable, knowledgeable, and will provide a professional work ethic. That's their promise to you. Make them your go-to guys for all your heating and air quality systems. Look us up, deheatingcooling.com.
The holidays are over and we're all dreaming about spring. But at Aquarius Home Services, we know Old Man Winter isn't done with us yet. Remember last year? We had snow in April. That's why at Aquarius, we're offering $65 off any furnace repair. With your safety and comfort as our top priority, we'll treat your home and time with respect. We'll provide options that make sense with upfront, no-surprise pricing. We're just a click away at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
If you've been injured in an auto accident or have sustained other personal injury, you don't have to leave town to get good representation. Spear & Swanson attorneys at law in Pine City are experienced and will work on your case with no fee until they get you money. They also handle divorce and custody cases, criminal defense, including DWI and other legal matters. Spear & Swanson is your local law firm that cares about you. So if you need legal representation or advice, call 320-629-7586. Spear & Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Visit Town & Country Insurance today at towncountry-ins.com or stop in our offices in Finlayson, Hinckley, and Mora.
Are you interested in a technical degree that can quickly help you land your dream career? Or maybe you've always dreamed of going to a 4-year college, but you'd like to start close to home. Either way, Pine Technical and Community College has you covered. PTCC offers more than 50 degrees in hot fields like healthcare information technology, advanced manufacturing, and business. PTCC is now accepting applications. Financial aid may be available online at pine.edu. Starting out or starting over, find your future at Pine Technical and Community College.
With high school sports season here again, Wellia Health wants to remind you that they want to help your athletes stay in the game. Sports medicine services are available at every Wellia Health campus. Whether it's the young athlete, the weekend warrior, or the accomplished athlete, injuries can happen. Get back in the game by calling the sports medicine experts at Wellia Health, 320-679-1313. Wellia Health. Live life well.
When something is important to you, you'll do anything to make sure it's protected. You want someone you know, someone you trust to help you take care of it. That's why you need to work with Pine Insurance Agency and Auto Owners Insurance. With over 50 years combined experience, let the experts at Pine Insurance Agency help you protect what's important, whether it's your home, car, farm, insurance, or loved ones. Call them today to set up a free, no-obligation quote. Your local Auto Owners Insurance Agency is Pine Insurance Agency, located in a Northridge Center in Pine City.
Welcome into WCMP's production of high school basketball. And now let's head to the court with Game Day Gilman.
Since 1967, Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley, has been where to go for all your building projects. Let Gerald Schmidt help you with designing, remodeling, or any new construction. Schmidt Construction specializes in residential home building, agricultural, industrial, and commercial buildings, with expert advice on all of your building projects and ideas. When you hire a contractor to take care of your building needs, you can't do better than Schmidt Construction, general contractor in Hinckley. 320-384-7901.
Minnesota. It's home. Hot summers at the lake, beautiful falls, snowy winters, and rainy springs. We experience it all. Make sure you're ready to handle whatever this state throws at you with help from Minnesota Equipment in Isani. Minnesota Equipment carries brands you love, like John Deere, Steel, Toro, Gravely zero-turn mowers, and Aaron snowblowers. Their helpful staff can not only get you the equipment you need, but can help you maintain it so it will last. Plus, they carry a full line of farm equipment. Minnesota Equipment in Isani. Online at minnesotaequipment.com.
Back here on 106.5 FM, AM 1350, WCMP. They honored the seniors here before this game. Of course, it's their last home game of the regular season for the Dragons. And they honored the two seniors on the team, Carissa Nassine and Maddie Berglund, as well as the managers, Ray Amerik, Sammy Schneider, and Haley Rydberg, the seniors of this Pine City girls basketball team. They honored them beforehand. And again, so next year they'll be without Berglund and Nassine, two pretty key pieces for this Pine City Dragons team. But again, they always reload. So your starting lineups here for the Foley Falcons, who are coached by Scott Antle, will be number 4, Brooke Bayer, number 5, Macy Zawacki, number 12, Ella Duvel, number 15, Marley Wheeler, and number 21, Elena Hagman. On the other side for the Dragons, it'll be number 3, Ella Sell, number 4, Maddie Berglund, number 12, Carly Jusak, number 14, Chloe Lind, and number 42, Carissa Nassine. Of course, the Dragons are head coached by Ted Haas. And again, it is senior night here for the Pine City Dragons. This is their last home game of the season. They have 3 games left after this one. They'll go to Ogilvie on Thursday. Then next Tuesday, they'll travel up to Proctor before next Thursday, finishing up their season in Malacca. Of course, that's just the regular season. And then we'll start the basketball playoffs, I think a week and a half after that, I believe it is. So they're coming up quickly. Chloe Lind and Ella Duvel will be the two at midcourt, getting ready for tip-off. And winning the tip, it tied it up for just a minute, but Carissa Nassine's going to come down with it. And she gets it to Ella Sell on the far side. Sell waits just a moment before passing it to Berglund. Berglund in the near side corner to Nassine. Nassine tried to go to Sell, but stealing it away is Hagman. Hagman takes it to the basket. That's no good, and getting the rebound is Duvel. Duvel, we're going to get a tie up there and a jump ball call. And the jump ball possession arrow facing the way of the Falcons, so they'll still have it. And looking to inbound now, right to Hagman. Hagman gives it off to Bear. Bear works inside, gives it back out to Hagman. Hagman drives to the basket, puts up the shot. It bounces once and drops in for 2. And now Berglund has it up the court to Ella Sell. Sell all the way across court inside to Lind. Now outside to Jusak for 3. And an early 3 from Jusak on the assist from Lind, and now with it is Wheeler to Bayer. Bayer now gives it back to Hagman. Hagman at the Dragon logo, pauses once, trying to go far side, now coming back near side. She's guarded by Ella Sell. Sell gets around one screen, now in the corner to Zawacki. Zawacki tries to drive inside, backs it out to Bayer. Bayer for 3, that's in. Bayer for 3, and that makes it 5-3 now. Ella Sell gets the inbound from Jusak. Jusak pauses. She's double-teamed. Passes it up to Ella Sell. Sell going to be double-teamed now. Now up to Jusak. Jusak going to have to dribble it up the court. That pass is blocked out of bounds. And Scott Antle, the head coach for the Falcons, catches it off the block. Dragons will hold on to possession, though, as Falcons were the last ones to touch it. Ella Sell will get ready to inbound. She looks. Goes to Jusak in the corner for 3, and she drains a 3. Jusak says, I see your 3. I'll answer it with one of my own. That's her second already. Bayer up the court quickly to Zawacki. Zawacki tries to drive inside. That shot is up. No good. Rebounded by Chloe Lind. Lind's going to take it up the court. A fast break opportunity. Passes it back out to Berglund. Berglund bounces it once. Now dribbles. Gives it back to Lind in the corner near side. That's a little bit long with Jusak. Her teammate was there to catch it, but couldn't grab it cleanly, and then it goes out of bounds off of her hands, and the Falcons will take back over. So that turnover proves to be no harm, no foul for the Falcons. No pun intended. Bayer up the court with it. Bayer trying to drive inside. She loses it, and Chloe Lind will come away with it. Chloe Lind to steal, and now we're going to get our first foul of the game with 16 minutes to go. This is going to go on Marley Wheeler, her first foul. Of course, stay tuned after the game for our Nichols Cafe Player of the Game. We'll award one player with a free bacon cheeseburger meal for being the player of the game. This ball inbounded to Lynn. Lynn tries to hook shot, up and in for two from Chloe Lind, and it's 8-5. Getting up the court quickly to Bayer. Bayer drives inside, gives it to Zawacki, lets the defender jump off the glass and in for two from Macy Zawacki. Jusak inbounds to Berglund. Berglund double team, now gets it back to Jusak. Jusak up the court quickly to Lind. Lind tried to go inside to LSL. LSL does come down with it. She gets it back outside the perimeter. Now all the way far side pass to Nasine is tipped out of bounds there by Marley Wheeler. Just getting a hand in there, knocking it out of bounds. Dragons will still hold on to possession with 15.5 to go. LSL going to inbound to Berglund. Berglund on the far side. Passes it. Now pass again to Lynn on the corner. Oh, an easy lane to the basket. Up and in for two. Chloe Lynn. One move, and she was to the basket. Now up the court quickly go the Falcons. It's Zawacki with it. Zawacki back out to Wheeler, and now with it is Hagman up inside. Just a short jumper, no good. Berglund waits for the rebound to come to her. She comes down with it, and she takes it up the court. Berglund on the near side, drifts back towards the far side, but she stops right at the top of the key. That ball is tipped, gets to Jusak. Now all the way far side pass to LSL. That goes through her hands and stolen away by Hagman. Hagman going to take it up the court, pass it over to Bayer. Bayer shoots the three. That's going to come up well short, and Lynn going to come down with the rebound. Chloe Lynn has the rebound, double team, cuts back out of it, and then a no-look pass to Jusak, but Jusak winds up getting it anyways. That was a little awry on the pass, and now into the far side corner to Nasine, now to LSL. Back to Jusak, top of the key, over to Berglund in the near side corner, all alone. The three is up, rattles out, rebounded by Jusak, and she fights to get that one up and in for two, and she's fouled. So she's going to go to the line and shoot two. 10-7, the Dragons lead, 14:21 to go. And this going to be, is that the second foul on Wheeler? I believe that's what they called. And it is. So Wheeler, her second foul. And Jusak at the line for two. First one is up and good. Couple new players in for Foley. It'll be Madison Barron and Michaela Deitel. No good on the second shot, but rebounded by Carissa Nasine. Now all the way into the near side corner to Lynn. Lynn going inside, pass to the top of the key to Berglund. Now to Nasine. Nasine on the elbow, gives it off to Sell. Sell in the far side corner, to Jusak. All the way back out to Nasine. Nasine back to Berglund. Berglund in the near side now. Pass to Nasine, right back to Berglund, and they'll go back and forth between each other before Nasine passes it to Sell. Sell wants to go to Jusak. She finally will. Now back over to Nasine. Nasine driving inside. Bounce pass to LSL, nearly knocked away by Hagman. Now out to Jusak. Jusak double team, trying to drive inside, trying to bully her way to the net. Gives it off to Sell on the same side. All the way a far pass to Lynn. Lynn goes after, but it's stolen away. Stolen away, racing up the court is Bayer. Bayer shoots the shot up, no good. And that one's no good as Zawacki got the rebound, put up the shot, it was no good. This time it's going to be Lynn. Lynn will take it up the court. She'll slow things down just a little bit and then hand it off to Berglund. Berglund over to Sell. Sell, lob pass inside to Jusak, and she comes down with it. Had to fight for it, but she comes down with it. Now Berglund at that half-court line, and you're allowed the one step over. You're allowed the 1 foot. It's just, well, she only had 1 foot across, and then they whistled it, so that's, unfortunately, they missed that call. Can't get mad at them. They're human, too, but that's just a missed call by the refs. That happens. So Berglund had 1 foot. It's two. You have to have 2 feet over the line for it to be an over and back. She only had one, and the whistle was blown. So just a little bit of an early whistle there by the referees, and it's okay because they're human. We're not going to dwell on it. Now inside to Michaela Deitel Deitel. And that's going against Carly Jusak, the Dragons first. And Pine City fans did not like that one. Shot is up and good from Deitel. So First one is good. And the second one good as well. Didal makes both. Makes it 11-9 with 12:53 to go. Nassine inbounds to Berglund. Berglund to Lind. Lind up past half court now, gives it off to Nassine. Nassine near side corner to Sell. Back over to Nassine. Nassine wants to get to Lind. Now she'll dribble it once and will give it to Lind at the top of the key. She's double teamed. Gives it over to Sell in the far side corner. Now inside to Lind. Oh, Lind was pushed in the back just a little bit, but Lind, nice reverse layup. No good, though, on the shot, and Didal comes down with it. With it is Hagman. Hagman trying to get around Berglund. Dribbles behind the back, but she's going to be double teamed. Gets it over to Zawacki. Zawacki now tries to pass inside, but right to Jusak, and Jusak gets the steal. Up to LSL. That is, it teetered on the front of the rim for a moment, but it's up and in for two. Nice assist from Jusak on the beautiful pass, 13-9. Zawacki takes it. She paused right at half court, gets it off to Hagman. Hagman now over for a long two for Barron. That's no good. Rebounded by Didal. And now off to Bayer. Bayer for three. That's off the front of the rim. And getting the rebound is Zawacki. Zawacki gives it off now to Bayer. Bayer, a couple steps inside the perimeter, puts up the shot. That's no good. And Carissa Nassine will come down with the rebound for the Dragons. 13-9, they lead. Nassine gives it to Lind. Lind now to Jusak. Jusak left alone on the elbow, but she'll dribble it once. Give it on the far side to Berglund. Now to Nassine. Right back to Jusak at the top of the key. Now in the near side corner to LSL. That three is a little bit long. And then on the rebound, Lynn trying to swat the ball back inside. But unfortunately, it does touch the boundary, so Dragons will have to give this one back. But now checking into the game is Piper Osborne for the Falcons. Piper Osborne in the game, and I believe Leona Hunt as well. Piper Osborne has it, now over to Hunt. Hunt gives it inside to Hagman, now up and in for two from Duvel. Inbound to Nassine, off to Jusak. Jusak dribbles right into a double team, and Osborne tips the pass, nearly stolen away. Nassine comes down with it, gonna have to get it up court. She finally does to Berglund, and then Berglund and Jusak both go after it. Miscommunication there, and Hagman's gonna put it up and in for two. Oh, you cannot have that. The steal came from Barron, and just a bad miscommunication between Berglund and Jusak. They were both there. They both went after it. They both got a hand on it. And then as the ball was tipped, it kind of just sat in the open court, and neither one of them went after it. I think they both thought the other was going to go after it. And in a game like this where the scoring is coming pretty quickly, going to have to go after that ball. Will be a little more aggressive, as now it's 13 all in this one. Timeout called here by Pine City. They have one team foul to Foley's two. The timeout now over. Both teams work back to the court, and after the steal and the turnover turns into 2 points, the Dragons will get set to inbound. It's Nassine to Berglund. Berglund feeling a little bit of the full court press, gives it back to Nassine, back to Berglund. She gets it past half court. She gets it around Hagman, now to Jusak, in the near side corner to Summer Thiemann. Thiemann, that pass goes right by the hands of Lind, Then Lind gets it back up court. Now the Falcons did get a hand on it, so she was allowed to go back and get it. And this ball is tipped out of bounds as well. So the Dragons will get to inbound. Berglund gets it inbounded to Jusak. Jusak, that ball was tipped. It's stolen away by Barron. Her second steal now to Osborne. Osborne pauses just a moment, gives it off to Hagman. Hagman directing traffic, calls out the play, telling Osborne to go one way. She goes the other. Now gives it off to Barron. Barron pounce pass to Osborne. Piper Osborne trying to drive inside. Gives it back out to Hagman. Tied at 13. Hagman trying to drive inside on the scene. She loses the ball. She's trying to throw it back in. Osborne there. Nice pass there from Hagman to Osborne. And Hagman drives from the corner. That one's up and rattles home. And now the Falcons have the lead, 15-13. Nassine, double team, back to Thiemann. Thiemann trying to get around Hagman. She's double teamed. Now she gets around one defender. Lob pass to Jusak. Jusak has it on the far side, all the way to Lynn on the near side. Lynn tries to drive, now gives it back to Thiemann. Thiemann to Nassine. Nassine over to Berglund. Berglund on the near side, drives just one step inside the perimeter, gives it to Lynn. Lynn found a lane to drive inside, puts up the shot. It's no good. And the rebound by Hunt, and maybe a little extra contact on that one. 15-13, Foley with the lead. Just about under 9 minutes to go, about 9:05 to go. Osborne with it, now over to Hunt. Hunt inside to Hagman. Hagman drives, shoots the ball up. It's no good, and Jusak going to come down with the rebound. She fought for it, and Jusak quickly up the court to Lynn. It's a little bit of a far pass, but Lynn keeps that ball alive, tries to get it to Berglund, and then one of them stepped on the boundary line, and the ball will go back over to the Falcons. So another turnover here for Pine City, and the Falcons will have a chance to boost their lead. 8:51 to go. Sell checks in for Carissa Nassine, and coming in for Barron is Marley Wheeler. This is inbounded to Bayer. Bayer up the court, and she tries to lob pass to Osborne. Osborne there, and now trying to give it inside to Duvel. That goes through a couple of hands. Now outside to Wheeler. Wheeler for three. Oh my goodness, that is clean through the net, and it's 18-13, Foley with the lead. Berglund inbounds to Thiemann. Thiemann trying to get around the defender, and they're going to get her for a travel. Thiemann, the dribble kind of went weird on her. It kind of came up on her bicep, and then she took a step as she carried it, so that's unfortunately a travel call, and Foley will get it back, leading 18-13. This inbound goes to Wheeler. Wheeler inside to Duvel. Duvel spins around, puts up the shot. It's no good, and now this is going to be out of bounds off the rebound. Getting her hands on it was Hunt, and it will be Dragon ball with 8:22 to go. Pine City started with the lead, and it looked like they were going to have all momentum, but then a couple turnovers, and the Falcons all of a sudden have turned this game on its head. Thiemann gets the pass from Lynn, now to Jusak in the corner. That three is no good, and Bayer comes down with the rebound. Bayer going to take it up the court. Bayer calling out the play. Waits for the offense to get set. Now drives over and hands it off to Hunt. Hunt going to come back and give it up to Wheeler. Wheeler now to Osborne. Osborne going to try and dribble around Thiemann. Tries, but gets it back to Wheeler. Now Wheeler traveling over to Hunt. She's going to hand it off to Hunt. Hunt trying to go to Osborne. Osborne brings it down with one hand. Now gives it off to Bayer. Bayer inside to Wheeler. That one's no good. Rebounded by Duvel, and now a foul on the shot. And Duvel got her own rebounds, so she'll be going to the line to shoot two. This is the second team foul for Pine City. And the second on Carly Jusak. First one is off the front of the rim, but it slides in, making it 19-13. And now 20-13 after Duvel makes both. This pass up the court intended for Jusak is well along, and it's going to be stolen away by Duvel. And now the Falcons go off the court quickly. Osborne right there. She gets around one defender, puts up the shot. It's no good. Rebound is slapped around, going to get out to Bayer. Bayer drives inside, now gives it back to Duvel. Shot is up and good. And all of a sudden, you can just feel this game. And that pass is tipped, stolen away by Bayer. And now a whistle. 7:09 to go. Foley leads 22-13. Looks like this foul is going to go against Maddie Berglund, her first, team's third. And Pine City's going to have to call a timeout. At one point, they led 13-9. And all of a sudden, the Falcons have gone on a 13-0 run in these last few minutes. The Dragons right now are reeling. And give Foley credit, though. They have been able to turn the ball over, score off of those turnovers, and have just been super aggressive on the defensive side of the ball, giving full court pressure to the Dragons. And right now the Dragons just can't get around it. And the Foley Falcons are just, a big thing too is they're just getting their hands in the way of the passes. That's been huge. They're putting their hands in the passing lanes, and the Dragons are thinking twice every time they try and pass the ball. So, the Dragons have no chance but to try and force some passes or lob some passes, and some of them have gone long. We just recently seen one intended for Jusak, but it went well long, and then it was taken back by Foley. So, tough little stretch here for Pine City, and Foley really has shifted everything their way. Pine City, from the start, it looked like this was going to be a pretty good game, pretty even game. Then Pine City got out to a little bit of a 5-point lead at once, and looked like maybe Pine City might start to pull away a little bit, but all of a sudden Foley was able to get a turnover or two, and this amount of Bayer is no good off the shot. She gets her own rebound, puts it up and in for two. The wind is definitely out of the Dragons' sails right now. Nassine double team. She tries to dribble through, gives it off to Belsheim. Belsheim comes down with it as it was tipped I don't know how many times, and she tries to get it to Lind. Goes off of Lind and out of bounds, and Foley Falcons will again take over. Dragons right now having a tough time overcoming the mistakes and the turnovers, and they really need to turn something around. They need a big play. They need to turn over into a fast break, and they need to hold Foley scoreless for a couple of minutes here while they can work on getting this back down to a more manageable game. Not that it's not right now. It's only an 11-point lead. Pass inside, but it's no good. Rebounded by Lynn, and then she has it stolen away by Piper Osborne, who puts it up and in for two. Oh, my goodness. The aggressiveness right now on the Foley side is just ridiculous. Pine City quite literally cannot do anything right now on offense because, Foley's defense is playing so hard right now. Looks like it was a 10-second violation. They didn't get it up court fast enough, did the Dragons, and we're also going to get a check on the scorers table. This should probably be 26-13 now. Yep, there we go. They fixed it. After the two from Piper Osborne on the steal, it's 26-13. 6 minutes to go. That pass intended for Zawacki. Piper Osborne was there, but she backed off knowing that pass was going right to Zawacki. She'll hand it off to Bayer on the far side, now to Wheeler. Wheeler pauses just a moment, wanting to go inside, and she's going to dribble it herself. She takes it inside, puts the shot up. It's no good, and looking for the rebound was Duvel, but it goes out of bounds. So the Dragons will hold the Falcons scoreless on that possession, and that's another thing. It seems every offensive possession the Falcons have had has led to points, and Dragons have had multiple possessions that have been turnovers or just been held scoreless. This pass to LSL in the far side corner for three. She drains it, and maybe that's the spark they need. LSL for three on the assist from Chloe Lind. 26-16, under 5.5 to go. Bayer, quick pass up the court to Zawacki, right back to Bayer, top of the key. Now over to Wheeler. Wheeler gets around Belsheim. She passes it back out to Duvel. She takes the short jumper. It's no good. Lynn right there for the rebound. Duvel, she thought that one, and Lynn, she thought she was fouled. She throws up her hands as if to say, hey. But this pass now to Belsheim goes over her head, off her fingertips out of bounds, and another turnover here by Pine City. And Piper Osborne on the bench being seen by the trainer right now. Hopefully she's okay. Again, the last thing you ever want to see or have happen in a game is anyone get hurt. Hopefully Osborne's okay and able to get back into this game. 5:05 to go here in the first half. Foley leads 26-16. And with it now is Hagman. Hagman gives it off to Zawacki, now to Bayer. Bayer back to Zawacki. Zawacki drives inside, puts up the shot. It was blocked by Jusak, and Jusak, just as surprised as I am, I thought that was all ball. They're going to get her for the foul, my goodness. That's going to be Jusak's third. So Jusak going to have to check out, and in for her will be Thiemann. Zawacki no good on the first, but she makes the second. Makes it 27-16. Under 5 to go. Thiemann takes it up on the near side of the court. She gets past all the defenders. Now passes it inside to Lind. Lind trying to drive inside. Back out to Nassine for 3. That's good. Carissa Nassine for 3. Another assist to Lind. They added a point for Foley. It's 27-19 now, so she must have made the first. And now on the other side, it's Hagman who travels with it. And Pine City will get the ball back. So this is what Pine City needs right now. They needed a couple of things to go bad for Foley, and it's 27-19, 4.5 to go. Thiemann up the court, gives it off to Lind. Lind drives inside, far side pass over to Berglund. Quickly to Sell, and Nassine with it, now to Lind. Lind drives inside, she had a lane, now puts up the shot. It's in for 2, plus the and 1. This is going to go against Ella Duvel, her first, team's third. And Chloe Lind at the line for a possible 3-point play. Off the backboard, no good. And rebounded by Duvel. So we'll get 2 out of that, but 27-21, you'd like, if you're the Dragons, you want to get at least within a 3, I think, before half, if you aren't able to get anything more. You want to get within at least 3. And this pass inside to Duvel is dangerous, and the shot is no good, but it's going to be rebounded by Zawacki, and her shot is up and in for 2. Up the court to Berglund, no good, stolen away by Wheeler, and then stolen right back by Summer Thiemann. So back-to-back steals there. Thiemann passes it to Nassine on the far side, 29-21. Ella Sell now has it from Nassine. She gives it right back to Nassine, now to Thiemann. Thiemann at the top of the key, pauses, gives it off to Berglund in the near side corner, trying to go inside to Lind. That was dangerous, and it's stolen away by Duvel. Now up the court, and wide open is Zawacki, or excuse me, that's Barron. Now out to Wheeler, and is that 3 or is that 2? I don't know how close she was. It was 2. Wheeler with 2. 31-21. Berglund triple teamed. They're on the court now, and it's going to be a jump ball. Possession arrow will favor the Dragons, so they'll hold on to it. It's back to a 10-point lead for the Falcons. 31-21 with 3:07 to go. My goodness. Foley just turning up all the pressure right now, and the Dragons just can't get around it. Berglund will inbound to Sell. Sell gives it off to Berglund. Berglund to the near side corner to Summer Thiemann. Thiemann trying to get around one defender. She gets double teamed. Passes it to Lind, and Lind has that one poked out, but Michaela Dietel gets a hand in there. Or Dietel. And it goes out of bounds. So Pine City will retain possession. Ella Sell looking to inbound. Gets it out. Far side to Nassine for 3. That misses everything, and Hagman is right there to catch it like a punt returner. And now the pass the other way, going up for it was Zawacki. No good, but then coming down with the rebound was Lind. That was a physical rebound. Lind getting it off to Summer Thiemann for 3. No good. And getting the rebound that time is Dietel. Giving it off now to Hagman. Hagman, her team leads 31-21. That was poked out by Berglund, but Hagman gets it back off to Zawacki. Now inside to Dietel. Back out to Zawacki. Zawacki trying to get around Thiemann. She puts up the shot off the backboard. No good. And Lynn comes down with a one-handed rebound. She gets it off to Sell. Sell going to slow things down. She just didn't quite have a clean dribble on the ball. Now gets it off to Thiemann. Now to Lind. Lind over to Berglund. Berglund to Sell. Sell pauses. 2 minutes to go. 31-21 the lead for Foley. To Nassine, far side for Thiemann. That 3 is going to be well short, and rebounded by Hagman. Hagman quickly up the court, and she passes it on the far side to Zawacki. Oh, and Zawacki, I think she slipped. Zawacki slipped. Hopefully her ankle's okay, because when you slip like that, your ankle can really twist. She seems to be okay. She actually is going to come get a breather, but as she went to make a move, she went to cut one way, her ankle gave out, or she slipped, and she lost the ball, and it went out of bounds. So Pine City will have the ball. Berglund gets the inbound, 1:40 to go. Still a 10-point lead for Foley. Berglund with it. She's double teamed, gives it off to Nassine. Far side. Nassine trying to drive inside, and now they're going to get her for a travel. Carissa Nassine is called for the travel. And the Falcons will take over. Inbounded to Hagman. Hagman trying to get up course past Berglund. Berglund guarding well, but now up the court to Hunt. Hunt just throws it up. It's no good. In and out. That looked like it was going to go in, but no dice. And Lynn gives it to Nassine. Nassine to Sell. Sell guarded well on the far side. She's going to dribble out of trouble back to the top of the key. Kind of reset things with 1:10 to go. Still a 10-point lead for Foley. 31-21. Berglund with it on the near side. Out to Belsheim. Belsheim wanted to pass. She'll go far side to Nassine. That's nearly tipped. Now back to Sell from Nassine. Sell going to go inside. Gives it to Berglund. Berglund on the perimeter. Racing around the perimeter. That's going to roll through Hunt's hands. Berglund lost it and Hunt had it. It went right out of her hands between her legs and out of bounds. So the Dragons will catch a break there with 53 seconds to go. Sell's going to inbound it to Berglund, the near side corner. Now out to Sell on the far side to Belsheim to Nassine. Nassine, that one was tipped. It gets to Berglund, though. Berglund takes it, drives inside, going to put up a little bit of a hook shot. That's no good, and coming down with it is Deitel. Deitel gives it off, and Hagman has it. Hagman looks like she's going to waste a little bit of time here, try and take off some time. And she steps back, passes it off to Wheeler. 25 seconds left. Really no urgency here from Foley. They're just trying to get the last shot, I believe. Now with it is Barron. Barron pauses, gives it inside to Hagman. Hagman inside, trying to get around one defender. Bounce pass to Hunt. Hunt! That one just kind of slipped out of her hands, and Belsheim has it. Now Lynn goes up the court. Lynn gives it off to Berglund. Now to Nassine. Now back to Berglund with 4 seconds left. 3 seconds left. Nassine puts up the shot. It's no good, and coming down with the rebound was Deitel, and that will be it for the first half. So we have reached halftime here in this Section 6 AA game with the Foley Falcons leading over Pine City 31-21 at half. We're going to take a commercial break, and when we come back, I'll recap that first half, give you our point leaders as well for each team, and I'll also give you my keys to the game for both of these teams. Of course, you're listening to girls basketball on 106.5 FM, AM 1350, and streaming live online at WCMPradio.com. Halftime here, Pine City trails the Falcons 31-21. We'll hear a word from our fine sponsors, and we'll be right back.
Mortgage rates haven't been this low since 2017. Chad Greenway talking Franzen Bank Mortgages. Now is a great time to buy or build your first home, your dream home, or that cabin you've always wanted. Or maybe refinance and lower your monthly payment. The local mortgage experts at Franzen Bank will find an option that best fits your situation. Buying, building, or refinancing. Find a Franzen Bank mortgage expert today at franzenbank.com/getthere. Tell them Greenway sent you. Franzen Bank and Trust. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is a story we all share, of a place rooted in tradition and rich with opportunity, of people driven by compassion and vision. At Essentia Health, we're proud to play our role in this story because we know that this place, these people, are like nowhere else. Visit Essentia Health in Hinckley, Sandstone, or our new location in Moose Lake for all your care needs. Schedule an appointment at essentiahealth.org today.
3 words: Sriracha Cheese Curds. Introducing the latest A&W family restaurant side with a kick. Sriracha Cheese Curds have arrived at A&W. We've spiced up our 100% Wisconsin white cheddar cheese curds with just the right amount of Sriracha heat. You can enjoy Sriracha Cheese Curds with your favorite A&W combo or on their own. Make sure to cool off the heat with a frosty mug of original A&W root beer. Hurry in, Sriracha Cheese Curds are only available for a limited time at your local A&W family restaurant in Pine City.
Feeling a little cold this winter? Call D&E Heating and Air Conditioning in Hinckley. D&E Heating and Cooling is a local Amana dealer with quality workmanship and superior service. Now scheduling into 2022, D&E is ready to assist you, keeping all your heating and air quality appliances working like they should this winter. Their technicians are dependable, knowledgeable, and will provide a professional work ethic. That's their promise to you. Make them your go-to guys for all your heating and air quality systems. Look us up, deheatingcooling.com.
The holidays are over, and we're all dreaming about spring. But at Aquarius Home Services, we know Old Man Winter isn't done with us yet. Remember last year? We had snow in April. That's why at Aquarius, we're offering $65 off any furnace repair. With your safety and comfort as our top priority, we'll treat your home and time with respect. We'll provide options that make sense with upfront, no-surprise pricing. We're just a click away at AquariusHomeservices.com. Aquarius, earning the right to be recommended.
If you've been injured in an auto accident or have sustained other personal injury, you don't have to leave town to get good representation. Spear and Swanson attorneys at law in Pine City are experienced and will work on your case with no fee until they get you money. They also handle divorce and custody cases, criminal defense, including DWI and other legal matters. Spear and Swanson is your local law firm that cares about you. So if you need legal representation or advice, call 320-629-7586. Spear and Swanson, attorneys at law in Pine City.
Back here on WCMP. Girls basketball action between the Foley Falcons and the Pine City Dragons. This is a Section 6AA matchup between the number 2 team in Section 6AA and the number 5 team in Section 6AA. Foley the number 2 team, Pine City the number 5. And we're at halftime right now with the Falcons leading over Pine City 31-21. And early on it looked like Pine City had the momentum, and they had a 13-8 lead at one point for Pine City, and it looked like, again, not necessarily that they were going to run away with it and just build an insurmountable lead, but it looked like they had momentum, and they were going to use that momentum to continue to build on it and push their lead further and further. Of course, Foley was going to score. They have a ton of playmakers out there, but it just looked like Pine City was going to be able to hold the lead going into halftime, but that's certainly not what happened here in the first half. As you've seen, Pine City had seen that 13-8 lead go by the wayside as the Foley Falcons went out and scored 14 straight points of their own. And Foley, they stole momentum, quite literally. They stole momentum. And what I mean by that is they quite literally had 10 steals in the first half. So they literally stole the momentum from Pine City. 10 first half steals, and most of those led to points. And for Pine City, it was just a matter of holding on to the ball, passes that would go awry, that were a little bit long or would go through the hands of their teammates. And it's not that Pine City was playing bad, they just had some mishaps out there and the mistakes that they just couldn't find a way to overcome. And the pressure by Foley was another thing there in the first half, that it was really, really something that Pine City just couldn't find a way to get through. And give Foley credit because they deserve it. They turned up the heat, and Pine City just could not find a way to overcome it in the first half. And Pine City trails 31-21 because of it. Now that doesn't mean that Pine City had plenty of chances. They did on their offensive side, and they made the most of those. They were able to come out and score 8 points in the last, I think it was 4 minutes of the first half. So they were able to make something happen, and then for the last minute and a half we went scoreless, and the teams really kind of figured each other out and were able to kind of, read each other's playbook, so to speak, because it almost seemed like they knew what was coming. Yeah, each team had a offensive possession or two there, but it really seemed like they started to figure each other out there, kind of like boxers. It was big swings early on, and then as we get further and further into the first half, it seemed to be more jabs. Foley got a couple more haymakers in there, but both teams were able to throw some jabs and kind of figure each other out. They were feeling each other out, and especially there at the end of the first half, it was more of, we felt each other out here in the first half. Now we kind of know what each other wants to do, and now we kind of know, so now we can game plan around it and play around it. And Pine City, again, they were able to score 8 points at the end of the half, so there is some offense there for them. There is some life still for Pine City. They're not down and out by any means. It's only a 10-point lead for Foley at halftime, so they are certainly not out by any means in this game, but they have some work to do. Foley has, again, a lot of playmakers on their side, and leading the way for them playmaker-wise, points-wise, I should say, was 2 players with 6 points, Elena Hagman and Ella Duval. They both had 6 points, 5 points from Marley Wheeler, Macy Zawacki, and Brooke Bayer, and then 2 points from Michaela Deedle and Piper Osborne. Of course, Piper Osborne would go to the bench and be seen by the trainer for a little bit. Not sure if she had an ankle or what. Hopefully she's okay, and we want to see her get back into the game here in the second half. She did not play in the rest of the first half, so we pray and hope that she is okay and healthy enough to come back into the game in the second half. Again, never want to see anybody hurt. That's the last thing we want. But leading the way in rebounds was Michaela Deidel, and she had 5 rebounds there in the first half. As I mentioned, they had 10 first-half steals and only 3 fouls there in the first half for Foley. On the other side for Pine City, they had 3 first-half steals, 4 first-half fouls, so it was a really clean game for these two teams there in the first half. Not a lot of fouls to speak of. Both teams played a pretty clean game. Of course, the referees kind of let these two teams play out there. They were getting pretty physical out there, but the refs kind of just let them play, and you could see Pine City got a little bit frustrated with how much the refs were letting both teams get away with. Both teams playing extremely physical, and you could see some of the players for each side were like, that's not a foul, and they just kind of got a little bit frustrated. So sometimes you got to overcome that and you work your way through it, because again, the refs are refereeing for both sides, and both teams have to overcome, whether you think it's a bad call or not. They're calling it both ways, so you have to find a way to play through it. But leading the way for Pine City was Carly Jusak with 7, Chloe Lind with 6, 5 for LSL, and 3 for Carissa Nassine. Rebounds-wise, Lind had quite the first half. Jusak had to check out with her 3rd foul, but Lind, man, did she have quite the first half. She had 8 rebounds with 6 points, 3 assists, and a steal. So she had a pretty good first half. Usually, Carly Jusak is the rebound machine for Pine City. She usually gets a double-double in the game with upwards of 15 rebounds per game and almost 20 points. So, Lynn kind of took that spot for Jusak at the end of the first half when Jusak had to sit because of the 3 fouls, and she did a really good job. She stepped up. She played really physical, really hard underneath the basket, and she did not give an inch anywhere on defense, man. She was playing extremely hard, but again, just the few miscommunications there for Pine City. I seen it, but it was between Berglund and Jusak. Both of them went after it. Then it was touched by both of them. Then it was just kind of sitting on the open court, no one around it. Both of them didn't go after it because I'm sure they each thought the other was going to go after it. So it's a miscommunication thing. You got to make sure that you're both going aggressively after the ball, especially when the ball is just sitting in the open court like that. You do not want the ball to just sit in the open like that, because Foley was able to pick it up and go down and score. So for Pine City, I think you need to just step up the aggressiveness a little bit. Just step it up just a little bit. Get a little bit of a fire lit in your bellies. Just start going after things a little bit harder. I think you got to get that intensity back on the team. You had it there to begin the first half. Kind of went away as Foley started to gain momentum, but I think Pine City just needs to get that fire back, just needs to find something to spark them and for them to just start gaining momentum. But I think the intensity for them needs to come back, and the communication just needs to be a little bit better. On the Foley side, on defense, you got to make sure that you're not allowing Jusak or Lind, to get down deep, and you cannot leave anyone open on the perimeter. We've seen LSL hit a 3 and Carly Jusak hit 2, along with Nassine. She hit one, so you cannot leave anybody open on the perimeter. As for on offense, I really don't think you need to change much. You had a lot of success, but maybe you want to start shooting some more threes to get those to fall, because if Pine City finds any momentum, then they're going to start to hit some threes themselves, and they're hard to stop. Foley, by the way, will start with the ball in the second half here. Quickly inside to Duval, up and in for 2. And they'll quickly score to make it a 12-point lead, 33-21. Only 30 seconds into this first half, and then this pass was tipped by Foley, as the pass was intended for Lynn, but it goes out of bounds. Last touched by Foley, and Pine City will catch a break there. Carly Jusak will start with it. They're trying to double team her. She's going to be double teamed on the far side. Now triple team. She's trying to pass it through that triple team. Now gives it off to Nassine. Nassine works it back towards the top of the key. Gives it off to Berglund. Berglund back to Nassine. Now over to Lind. Lind gets the pass on the far side. Tries to drive inside. That shot is up and no good. Oh, and then no. They're going to get Lind for the offensive charge. I have to say I respectfully disagree with that call. That'll be Lynn's first, team's first. And again, I respectfully disagree with that call. Didn't think it was a charge. I thought that should have been called on the defense, if anything. I didn't think they were actually going to call a foul. Bayer inside to Hagman. Right back outside to Bayer. Now out to Wheeler. Wheeler gives it off on the far side to Zawacki. She'll back it up to the Dragon logo. Now gives it off to Bayer. Bayer will give it off to Hagman. Now out to Zawacki. Right back to Wheeler. Inside to Bayer. Bayer gets around 2 defenders inside. And that shot is no good. Getting the rebound is Jusak. Now trying to get it to Sell. She one-hands it. Keeps it alive on the near side corner. And she's going to step out of bounds. That pass was tipped, was just not cleanly grabbed by Sell, and it was just a little bit high for her, but she wound up coming down with it, but just stepped out of bounds. Now Bayer up the other side. Nice pass to Zawacki. She puts it up. That's no good. Fight for the rebound is won by Bayer, and she throws it off of Lind, and just a smart play there by Bayer, as it's going to go off of Lind out of bounds, so the Falcons will keep possession. Wheeler will look to inbound for Foley. Inbound to Hagman, up and in for 2. Hagman will get another point on the board. Nassine inbounds to Lynn, now gets it off to Berglund. Berglund trying to get around the defender. She backs it out, trying to get around the double team, now passes it to Lind. Lynn looking far side to LSL, quickly puts it up for 3, gets it over the defender. And now this rebound was fought for, but it is out of bounds, last touched by the Foley Falcons. Ted Hoslook asking why that wasn't a foul on Jusak, and referee giving him an explanation. LSL inbounds to Jusak on the far side, and that's not a, oh my goodness. They didn't call a foul on that one either. It looked like Jusak had her hand hit, but they call it all ball. 35-21, and now a foul called on Foley. They're going to get on Zawacki her first. Team's first. Ted Haas getting a little bit frustrated out there because they're letting them play, but there are a couple where it has been pretty, what's seemingly obvious, I should say, a foul, but they haven't called it. And again, they're kind of letting them play here tonight, letting them be a little more physical. LSL working with it, gives it off to Jusak. Jusak going to be double teamed. Now back to Sell. To Berglund, far side to Nassine. Now out to Berglund. Oh, Berglund had a chance at 3. She pulls it down, gives it to Sell. Sell is going to be fouled. Can't say I've seen the foul on that one. Not sure who they called on that one. And that's going to go against Wheeler, her third, team second. LSL will look to inbound. She wanted Jusak, and she does get it to Jusak on the near side. Lob pass to Nassine at the top of the key. Now to Berglund. Far side to LSL. All alone. That's going to be well long. No good. And Piper Osborne comes down with the rebound. Up the court to Osborne. So Osborne is okay. She checks back into the game. Now gives it off to Hagman. Hagman on the near side. Calling out the play for her offense. And she dribbles it. Gives it off to Wheeler. Wheeler gives it to Bayer. Bayer inside to Hagman. Hagman puts up the shot. That rings around the rim a couple of times, but it falls in for 2. 37-21. Nassine inbounds to Jusak. Jusak up on the far side has that one poked out. And a foul called on Foley. That one's on Hagman. Hagman's going to get called for foul. Jusak trying to get the offense to get set, and she gets it past that half-court line. She loses the ball, picks it up again, then dribbles with it to the basket, and shot is no good. They're going to get a foul on Foley here. I did not see it. I am not at a great angle here. Duvel with her second foul. And Jusak's first one, no good. It went, kind of slid across the top of the rim, then hung on the front of the rim for just a moment and wound up falling the wrong way. No good on the first, and no good on the second. Getting the rebound there is Duvel. She gives it off to Hagman. Hagman up the court. Her team leading by 16. She'll now give it off to Barron. Barron gives it back to Hagman. Now over to Osborne. Osborne near side gives it to Bayer. Bayer finds a lane to the basket. Bounce pass to Duvel. Up and in for 2. Wow. Beautiful passing there by Foley. And now we're going to get a timeout by Pine City as they trail 39-21. Frustration showing now for Pine City. Just can't seem to get anything to go their way. 39-21. Dragons trail here to the Foley Falcons, and this, again, a very important game for both teams, not just for one side, but for both. Foley right now sitting at that number 2 spot in the section. Pine City at that number 5 spot, but depending on how this game plays out, Pine City could fall. Kimball right behind them, only 3 points behind Pine City is Kimball, so if Pine City loses this one, they'll definitely fall behind Kimball into that 6th spot, but then Malacca could wind up coming up and replacing Pine City in the 6th spot, and Pine City could fall to 7 because Malacca's only 3 points behind Pine City in the standings. Then you got Osakis with 83.9 and Spectrum with 83.3. So there's a way, a long way they could fall if Pine City does lose to Foley tonight, unfortunately. So there's a lot riding on the line, and I think with the equation going into it is section opponents, section record, conference wins and record, and then also your margin of victory and or loss to section teams, I believe, also plays into it. So right now the Dragons, I know a lot of people would probably start thinking about just trying to get the victory, but it doesn't all come back in one. You just got to go one possession at a time and get it all back eventually. Nassine passes to Lind. LSL now to Jusak. That one's up and in for 2. It bounces around the rim a couple of times, but winds up going through the net. 39-23. Duvel now up to Osborne. Piper Osborne gives it back to Hagman. Hagman across to Bayer. Bayer jumps, bounce pass to Hagman, inside to Duvel, and swatted out. We're going to say last touch by Duvel. Jusak looked like she may have got a hand on it, but they do not agree. They say Duvel was the last to touch it, so Pine City gets this one. And now that's stolen away by Hagman. Easy up for 2, no good. And rebound by Hagman. Now out to Duvel. That's no good, and LSL going to come down with the rebound. And nearly stolen away again by Foley. But it was touched out of bounds by the Falcons, so Pine City will get it back. Inbounded to Jusak. Jusak gets it to Berglund. Berglund looking to go back. Instead, she'll take it up the court. She's guarded well by Hagman. Now gets it to Nassine. Nassine gets around one defender. Lob pass to Berglund, and she's trying to get around Bayer. Bayer there to swat it away from her. She gets the steal, and now quickly up the court, but that ball is knocked away and stolen away by Jusak. Jusak gives it to LSL now in the corner near side to Berglund. Berglund gives it off to Jusak. And there is a good battle brewing below between Lind and Duvel. They are being quite physical with each other. Lind gets the pass from Sell. Lind trying to drive inside. She found a lane. It's up, bounces in for 2. Lind and Duvel right now got a little bit of a battle going on underneath, and they're being quite physical. And they're both going to have to be careful, because if you get too physical, meanwhile Bear on the other side for 3, no good. Piper Osborne going to come down with the rebound. But if you become too physical, the whistle's going to start to blow. That whistle is not going to be silent all night when you are playing that physical down below between those two. I mean, they are bumping bodies here. With it is Barron. Barron going to give it off to Osborne. Now to Bear on the far side. Foley still leads 39-25 with 12:20 to go. This pass to Hagman now. Hagman gives it near side. Piper Osborne for 3. That's no good. And grabbing the rebound is Nassine, but as she got it, she stepped on the boundary line. So trying to get it back for Pine City was Nassine, but just a toe on the boundary line and gives it back to Foley. Summer Thiemann going to be checking into the game for Carissa Nassine. One of the 2 seniors playing for the Dragons. They have 5 altogether, including 3 managers that are seniors. Guarded well, but Piper Osborne comes open, and she finds the basket for 2. She was guarded well. There was really no one open, but she found a way open at the last possible moment, got the inbound pass, and had a wide open lane to the basket. Jusak up the court, gets it off to Lind. Lind wanting to go inside, gets around one defender, and gives it out to Sell. Now to Berglund. Berglund lets one defender get by. Gives it off to Thiemann, and now that pass. Berglund going to be double-teamed. She's going to try and dribble through it. She gets it off to Jusak. Jusak all the way across the court to Lind on the far side. Lind trying to battle underneath, and oh no, she stepped down the boundary line as well. Frustrated with herself, she's going to go back on defense. Lynn was frustrated with herself on that one. Hagman quickly up the court now to Hunt. Hunt, a little jumper, no good. Rebound still for grabs, and Jusak going to get it. Jusak throws this all the way down the court for LSL, who was wide open. Just couldn't place it cleanly. She was looking for it over her shoulder and just could not grab it cleanly. Goes through her hands, out of bounds. And the Falcons will take it back, leading 41-25, under 11 and a half to go. This game just zooming by tonight. Piper Osborne has it on the pass from Zawacki. And Zawacki was in a little bit of trouble on that far side corner. Thiemann and Berglund were there guarding her well. And with that, the Foley head coach, Scott Antle, will take a timeout. So both teams will get together, kind of regroup and go over the game plan, trying to figure something out here. Foley trying to figure out how to increase their lead. Pine City trying to come back and get this thing within double digits. Of course, at halftime, they trailed by 10, 31-21. And Foley has increased their lead here in the second half. But there was point in time here in the second half where it really looked like Pine City was going to take over a little bit and find some room to run and get momentum swinging back their side. But it has just been Foley's game tonight. They have just had the Dragons' number. And again, playing a little bit more physical here tonight. The refs are not calling everything. They're letting them play a little bit physical. And I don't think either team is quite used to that yet. Hagman will get the inbound pass, and now she gives it off to Osborne. Osborne to Didle for two. Makes it 43-25. Lynn gets the inbound, gives it off to Jusak. Jusak lets one defender go by. Got to be careful. There was a defender coming up behind her. She gives it off to Berglund. Berglund now to Lynn. Lynn. Oh, that pass goes right to Hagman. Hagman going to take it up the court. Puts it up off the side of the backboard, and Jusak had come down with it, but Piper Osborne, she's going to take it back. And she puts it up and in for two. 45-25. All of a sudden, it's a 20-point lead now for Foley. Berglund, lob pass to Lind. Lynn back out to Thiemann. Thiemann thought about three, but the defender was coming at her, and Thiemann must have picked up her pivot foot or something because they call her for a travel. 45-25, the lead for Foley with 10-12 to go. Hagman gets the inbound pass from Piper Osborne. She takes it up the court, gives it off to Zawacki, now off to Osborne. Quickly over to Wheeler. Now inside to Hagman, back out to Wheeler for three. That's off the front of the rim, no good. Summer Thiemann does come down with the rebound. She takes it, lets the defense and offense get in front of her, and now up past half court. She gives it off to Berglund on the far side, inside to Jusak. And I think we get a foul called on Foley. So Jusak was looking to take the pass in, but she got fouled on it. And that one is going to go against Zawacki, her second, team sixth. Inbounded to Jusak. She wanted to turn around, put up the three. Unfortunately, the defenders were right there. Jusak had Thiemann right behind her, and Thiemann's going to get the pass from her. Thiemann now bounced to LSL. Sell couldn't grab it cleanly. In the far side corner, has that one poked out by Hagman. It will roll out of bounds. Last touch by the Falcons, and Pine City will still hold on to it. And now we get the buzzer. As looks like Foley's going to get a substitution. Bayer checks into the game for Hagman. Hagman going to get a much-deserved rest. LSL getting set to inbound. Trying to lob it to Jusak. That's just a dangerous, dangerous pass, and stolen away by Piper Osborne. Now up to Bayer. Bayer going to take it back out to the perimeter. Now off to Piper Osborne for three. Off the front of the rim, no good. And trying to get the rebound, but it went all the way out to Bayer. Bayer now gives it off to Wheeler. That's no good, and Jusak going to come down with the rebound. 45-25. Jusak gives it up to Berglund. Now to Sell. Sell all the way across to Jusak on the near side. Jusak double team, gives it to Lind. Lind to Berglund. Berglund to Thiemann. Thiemann circling the perimeter. Trying to drive inside. She'll give it back to Lind. Lind all the way to Sell on the far side. That shot was, blocked. I thought it was clean, but the refs do not agree, and we're going to get a foul on the Falcons, and 3 shots for LSL. The first foul on Bayer. And LSL will get 3 chances here. First one up, no good. 20-point deficit right now for Pine City. Looks like we have some student section fans here. The pep band also decided to come back after putting their equipment away. And she makes the second, does LSL. Sell's third one is up and no good, so she gets 1 of 3, does LSL. And Piper Osborne, she got the rebound, takes it up the court. On the far side for Bayer, that 3 is no good, and Summer Thiemann just going to let that one roll out of bounds. Hagman was coming up behind her trying to get it back, but luckily Thiemann kind of boxed her out. And now Jusak will take it up the court, trailing 45-26, the Dragons, with 8:20 to go. And oh my goodness, Sell, on the far side comes down with a fingertip catch. Now to Nassine in the near side corner. Nassine back over to Sell on the far side. Now to Lind in the corner. Lind drives to Nassine, to Thiemann, elbow for 3, and that's up and it's good. Summer Thiemann, her first points of the game are a 3, and it's 45-29. Bayer for the Falcons will take it up the court. Gives it off to Osborne, right back to Bayer. We'll hand it off to Osborne now and gives it to Zwacky, now to Wheeler. Wheeler inside to Bayer. Bayer trying to drive inside. She puts up a hook shot. That's no good. Jusak going to come down with the rebound. Jusak up the court. Gives it inside to Lynn. Lynn has to spin for that one. And we get a couple players who fall to the court. Osborne is one. And Lynn the other. And do we have a foul on Foley? Looks like we do. And that is going to be on Piper Osborne, her first. Again, they're letting them play physical down there. Lynn got into Osborne, and Osborne fell. Then Lynn went up for the shot, and Lynn fell. And now Lynn makes the first free throw. It's 45-30. So some extremely physical play. The ref's allowing here. It looks like we got a little bit of a damp spot out there, and ref trying to take it off with his shoe. Lynn made the first, now getting set for the second. Lynn good on both. So Lynn makes 2. It's 45-31 with under 7.5 to go. Bayer will start with it. On the far side, trying to get around Lynn. Lynn trying to avoid the foul. Now gives it back to Osborne. Osborne will hand it to Bayer. Bayer on the near side. In the near side corner to Osborne. Now back out to Zwacky. Now to Duvel. Right back out to Bayer at top of the key. Now Zwacky. Zwacky drifting to the far side. Gives it off to Osborne on the near side. Top of the key to Bayer. And right back to Osborne. Looks like Foley going to try and drain some clock here. Try and take some longer possessions on offense. That's exactly what they're doing, just passing the ball. No real urgency to get to the basket. Bayer back out to Osborne, and that ball was tipped. No. Almost stolen away by Nassine. Nassine had her hand in the passing lane and almost stole it, but looks like the ball was dribbled on the boundary line, so Foley will inbound, and inbounding it to Zwacky for 3 was Wheeler. Now we get a foul called, looks like on Pine City. I thought, yes. So they the foul up on the board from Pine City. Bayer gets the inbound, puts it up and in for 2. Jusak up the court with it on the inbound. Jusak gives it to Nasine at the top of the key. Now over to Berglund. And I believe that was, they say it was Jusak who got that foul. Now Summer Thiemann on the far near side for 3. It's no good. Up and shot is no good from Lynn, but a foul on Foley will send her to the line for 2, 47-31. 6:11 to go in the game. Not sure who that foul's on. Refs did not say. Lynn's first one is no good. So Lynn misses the first. And no good on the second. Duvel will get the rebound for Foley. Well, gives it off. Now to Hagman. Hagman takes it up the court. Gives it off. Inside to Duvel. Trying to get it to Deitel. Deitel nearly swatted away by Lynn. Now to Hagman. Hagman inside. Gives it off. Excuse me, to Bayer. Bayer inside. Shot is up. No good, but she was fouled, and she'll go to the line and shoot 2. 47-31. 5:52 to go. Lynn gets her second foul. Team's third. Shot is up and good from Bayer. And the second one is up as well. And good. 49-31, 5:52 to go. Jusak gets the inbound on the far side. Lob pass over the defender to Berglund. She'll go right back to Jusak. Jusak top of the key. And Jusak going to pass it into the near side corner to Summer Thiemann. That 3 is off the mark, but Lind right there for the rebound. Trying to give this back to Thiemann, and that ball was tipped out of bounds by Bayer. And Thiemann just smartly watches that one roll out of bounds as Foley was the last to touch it. Berglund wanting to inbound to Jusak. Instead, she'll give it to Thiemann. Thiemann here on the near side. Has to pick up her, yep, oh no. Thiemann had to pick up her dribble, and Ted Haas trying to give her some help out there as Thiemann was frustrated on that one. So Foley will get it back. Hagman into Bayer, and Bayer right back to Hagman. Hagman directing traffic, gives it off to Barron. Barron inside to Duvel, and Duvel's shot is up and no good. Lynn comes down with the rebound. She's close to a double-double. I think that actually puts her at a double-double. Lynn now off to Jusak on the far side. Oh, and nothing. Nothing on that one for Jusak. Just not enough on it. And Bayer comes up with it. Bayer finds a lane, drives inside. Shot is up, and it's no good. Jusak will come down with the rebound. And I don't know what we got going on now. So we had a whistle. I'm not sure. The referee was talking to Bayer for Foley, and maybe I didn't see her go down. Well, everyone seems to be okay. Back to action, 49-31, Dragons trail. Berglund trying to fight through a double team. Gonna get her for a travel. 49-31, Foley will take back over. Bayer will inbound to Hagman. Now to Bayer, now to Barron, and that pass tipped, stolen away by LSL. We get a jump ball call, and possession arrow favoring the Dragons. Inbound from Sell to Jusak. Jusak up on the near side. Top of the key, gives it off to Nasine. Nasine Now back to Jusak. Jusak looking all the way across the court to Lind. Lind fakes away. Hagman now gives it to Sell. Now to Nassine. Nassine bounce pass to Sell. Sell goes top of the key to Lind. Now to Berglund. Berglund to Nassine. In the corner, she's double teamed. Gets around it. Now pass to Lind. Lind trying to drive inside. Gives it back to Sell. That pass is tipped away. And looks like they had it tied up, but they're going to get a foul on Lind. Well, I don't know if I agree with that one either. Lind had her arm around the ball, as did Duvel. I thought that should have been a jump ball call, but refs do not agree. Duvel, by the way, with a shot is no good. She gets her own rebound. Back out to Hagman. Hagman will pass to Bayer. Bayer going to take it to the top of the key, then drive one way. Now back it back out and give it off to Hagman. 3.5 to go. And this pass to Barron, now inside to Deitel. And that ball gets away from her, out of bounds. And it's getting a little chippy down there between these two teams. And there's a little extra activity on the tie-ups, and they're bumping shoulders and elbows as they walk away from each other. You got to be careful out there. Again, I know they've been letting them be physical here tonight, but if you do that too much, they're going to get you for a technical. This pass goes through Berglund's hands, by the way, and gets to Hunt. Hunt gives it off to Hagman. Hagman on the far side will hand it off to Bayer. Bayer trying to get her around LSL. She does. Drives to the basket, puts up the shot, in for two. Brooke Bayer, another shot made. 51-31, now creeping up on 3 minutes left. Pass to Nassine from Jusak. This is lobbed to Lind, and Bayer had the steal, but she stepped out of bounds as well. It will be a timeout called by Pine City. They're just going to take a quick 30-second timeout. And they're reeling right now, and got about 3 minutes left to try and make something happen. It's not anywhere near impossible, but they've got a lot of work to do. Ted Haas giving his team a word of encouragement. Again, not impossible to come back from 20 down with 3 minutes left. Not by any means. There is certainly plenty of time for Pine City to come back and, not only try and tie this game up, but try and win it as well. It's a tall task, but it's not impossible by any means. LSL will get set to inbound here for Pine City. Trailing 51-31. Inbound to Berglund. Berglund gives it off to LSL. Right back to Berglund, and now they'll pass it back and forth between each other and get it inside to Jusak. She puts up the shot. It's no good, but she was fouled, and she'll go to the line to shoot two. That will put Pine City in the double bonus, as that is Foley's 10th foul here in the second half, and that is the first for Deitel. Jusak will add on to Pine City, 32-51 as she makes that one. And Jusak is good on both. 51-33. Down by 18 are the Dragons with 2:47 to work with. But Foley will certainly just try and take as much clock off as they can with each offensive possession. Bayer, but they're going to let her find a lane to the basket, and she overshoots it. And Jusak will come down with the rebound. Bayer been pretty automatic with those all night, but missing on that one. Jusak going to give a little floater up and into the basket for two, making it 51-35. And really going to slow things down now is Hagman. Hagman will get it off to Bayer. Okay. 2:16 to go. 51-35. Looks like we're going to get a timeout here. Called by Foley, I believe that one, with a minute timeout, and Dragons trail 51-35. Dragons have a bit of work to do, but they just scored 4 straight points, all coming from Jusak. 2 from the line, and then 2 off a little floater. Well, definitely still got life to the Dragons, but again, not going to be easy. As you can tell, Foley, each time they inbound, whether it's Hagman or Bayer taking the inbound pass somewhere, they're really walking, trying to milk as much of the clock as they can. And both teams will get back out there. Out of the timeout, it'll be Foley who will inbound. Inbounded to Wheeler, now back to Bayer. Bayer off to now Zawacki. Now to Hagman. Wheeler once again. Wheeler out to Hagman. Hagman gives it off on the far side. And now out to Bayer. They're really trying to waste as much time as they can, and sooner than later, Pine City's going to have to foul. Unfortunately, they only have 4, so they're going to have to give 3 more fouls for Foley to get to the line. Oh, Jusak standing right in the way, just waiting for that one. It falls into her hands. She gets around one defender, puts up a shot, and she's fouled. So Jusak gets to go to the line and shoot 2. So again, Foley just trying to take as much time off the clock as they can, but Jusak was right in the way of that one as she stole it away. It's up and good on the first. Hagman with her second foul, the team's 11th. Hunt will check out, and for hers Duvel. And again, Pine City, they're just fighting here. They're going to fight to the final buzzer. This team has got a lot of fight. Jusak, good on the second one. That one went off the front and the back of the rim and then finally fell through. 51-37. It's a 14-point game. Pine City, and then to Duvel. She's wide open, and again, the hard part right now is Pine City only has 14 fouls. They would have to foul 3 times in order to send Foley to the line, and Foley right now looks content to not even try and get anything towards the basket, so they're just going to try and drain as much clock as they can and take this one down and not give Pine City any kind of chance to go down and score again. With it is Hagman. She gives it off to Zawacki, now to Bayer. Bayer, bounce pass to Duvel. Out to Zawacki again. Zawacki fakes one way, and then she'll pass out to Hagman. 40 seconds to go, and looked like Lynn tried to foul, and Duvel's going to put it up and in for 2, and that will pretty much do it. 53-37, clock continuing to run, 30 seconds to go. Jusak going to take it up the court on the near side. Gives it off to Nassine. Nassine to Belsheim, and trying to go inside to Jusak, but taking it away, putting her hand up, is Zawacki, and she'll get the steal. Hagman going to take it up the court, give it off to Bayer. 12 seconds left, 11-10. So that will pretty much do it, as Foley will just try and dribble out the clock. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, and that will do it here in this one. The Foley Falcons come away with the victory here tonight over Pine City, 53-37. So the Falcons get a section win, a very important win tonight here over Pine City. And the Dragons will drop their second in a row. Well, they'll have some work to do here with 3 games left in the season, but 3 good games as well, and they'll have a chance to improve their section ranking with the last 3 games. We'll take a commercial break. When we come back, I'll recap this game, let you know what's coming up for both these teams, as well as for our broadcast schedule here on WCMP. You're listening to Girls Basketball on 106.5 FM, AM 1350.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Visit Town & Country Insurance today at townandcountry-ins.com or stop in our offices in Finlayson, Hinckley, and Mora.
Are you interested in a technical degree that can quickly help you land your dream career? Or maybe you've always dreamed of going to a 4-year college, but you'd like to start close to home. Either way, Pine Technical and Community College has you covered. PTCC offers more than 50 degrees in hot fields like healthcare information technology, advanced manufacturing, and business. PTCC is now accepting applications. Financial aid may be available online at pine.edu. Starting out or starting over, find your future at Pine Technical and Community College.
With high school sports season here again, Wellia Health wants to remind you that they want to help your athletes stay in the game. Sports medicine services are available at every Wellia Health campus. Whether it's the young athlete, the weekend warrior, or the accomplished athlete, injuries can happen. Get back in the game by calling the sports medicine experts at Wellia Health, 320-679-1313. Wellia Health. Live life well.
When something is important to you, you'll do anything to make sure it's protected. You want someone you know, someone you trust to help you take care of it. That's why you need to work with Pine Insurance Agency and Auto Owners Insurance. With over 50 years combined experience, let the experts at Pine Insurance Agency help you protect what's important, whether it's your home, car, farm, insurance, or loved ones. Call them today to set up a free, no-obligation quote. Your local Auto Owners Insurance Agency is Pine Insurance Agency, located in a Northridge Center in Pine City.
Back here on WCMP, the Foley Falcons get the victory over the Pine City Dragons 53-37, and that will definitely help their QRF as they right now stand in second place in Section 6 AA, right below Albany. Albany has 129.7 points, Foley with 116.5, but with a win here tonight over Pine City, that should help Foley increase their points, but I don't know if it's enough to catch Albany. It all depends on what their game tonight, what the outcome was that, because, of course, Albany played Holdingford tonight, so that was another good game out in the Section 6 AA world for girls basketball. But Pine City does fall here to 17-6 on the season, and these were actually two of the top scoring teams in this section, Foley and Pine City. Pine City, about the third highest scoring team in this section, but Foley really had their number tonight, and it really was the turnovers, I think, in this game. You had 10 steals in the first half from Foley and 7 steals in the second half from Foley. So they did a really good job with the turnovers, just turning the ball over, really making Pine City uncomfortable. And that, I think, was a big story. Making Pine City uncomfortable and the mistakes from Pine City. The communication tonight was a bit off for Pine City. They just had a couple times where you had two players in the same area who were trying to who were looking at getting the pass, but then they both kind of went after it. It kind of sat in the middle of the court, and both kind of thought the other was going to go after it. And I think we've all been there. We've all kind of went for the ball and just watched it sit because we thought the other player was going to go get it. And that's what I was talking about. I thought they needed to be just a little bit more aggressive out there. We've seen it in the second half. The aggression kind of came out a little bit. They really played a lot more physical. And the refs, again, they were allowing them to play physical. So there was no shortage of physical play here tonight for both of these teams as they were allowing them to play physical here tonight underneath the basket. Chloe Lind had a nice battle going with Duvel underneath the basket. They were battling out there, and I kind of mentioned it a couple times in the game that you got to be careful because sooner than later they're going to blow the whistle for a foul, and soon then it's going to be a personal, then a technical foul. So, but again, they just let them play really physical. It was getting a bit chippy there at the end. Players kind of elbowing, or not necessarily elbowing, but bumping shoulders that they would run past and go down the court. So it was getting a little bit chippy out there, but. And that's all part of it, and both sides did a really good job of keeping their cool, not letting that chippiness get to them and boil over into something. Both teams, again, did a really good job of just making sure they just kept their cool and didn't allow it to boil over into anything. But Foley does get the victory 53-37. Leading the way for them in points was Ella Duvel with 12. Brooke Bayer had 11 points, and Elena Hagman had 10 points in the game. These are unofficial stats, by the way. So unofficially, those are your stat leaders for Foley. They, again, had 7 second-half steals, 10 in the first half, and just a bunch of rebounds. They did go into the double bonus for Pine City in fouls. I think they had wind up having 12 or 13 fouls here in the second half, and Pine City, I believe, only had 4 or 5 in the second half compared to their 4 first half. So a pretty clean game for Pine City foul-wise, but again, Foley just made Pine City really uncomfortable. Leading the way was Carly Juice. Actually had a pretty good second half with 15 points in the game. Then Chloe Lind with 10, 6 for LSL, 3 for Nasine and Summer Thiemann. And it just seemed like Foley just made Pine City uncomfortable all night long, and they just really couldn't get past that. And then the mistakes that came along with it. It was a tough one here for Pine City. Certainly they'll learn from it and they'll go forward and try to continue to win here in their last 3 games. Speaking of the last 3 games, we will look over to Foley's rest of their schedule. They will have 3 more conference games and a chance to share the conference with Albany. Of course, they will play Albany on Thursday, Zimmerman on Friday. Then next week they'll have 3 more games to wrap up the season against Mora, Holdingford, and St. Cloud Cathedral. So a tough schedule still left for Foley. On the other side for Pine City, only 3 games left. They'll have a game against Ogilvie in Ogilvie this Thursday. They're trying to end the conference undefeated on the season. They will have a chance on Thursday, but that should be a fun one. And then next week they'll play up in Proctor on Tuesday and over in Malacca on Thursday, and that will wrap up their regular season. So both teams, they still have a lot to play for, and again, in the section-wise as well, because both of these teams can really improve their section standings if they can finish out the rest of the season with wins, if they can win out. So a lot riding on the line for both teams. Coming up for the WCMP schedule tomorrow, we'll have hockey along with more basketball action. We'll have Pine City versus Mora tomorrow. That will be in Mora. Then Bram versus Swanville. And then we'll also have more boys Pine City basketball as they will host Ogilvie tomorrow night, and that will be over on 100.9 FM. So again, the Foley Falcons get the victory in this game, 53-37 over the Pine City Dragons. Foley Falcons with the win improve on the season to 16 and 5, and the Pine City Dragons, they fall to 17 and 6. Want to thank all of you who tuned in here tonight. Of course, give a huge shout out to all of our fine sponsors. We can't do it without them. So thank you to all of our sponsors who not only sponsored this broadcast, but the entire winter sports broadcasting season. Thank you so much to them. Once again, Foley with the victory over Pine City, 53-37. Stay tuned to the WCMP and KBEK morning shows for your local sports updates. You can listen to the Rockin' Robin Riley morning show on Nice 95.5 at 7:30 and 8:30 for your local sports, and to the WCMP morning show with Joshua Miron at 7:45 and 8:45. That's when you can hear the local sports update, as well as some regional sports as well. Once again, the final, Foley 53, Pine City 37. For WCMP, I'm Ethan Game Day Gilman. Thanks so much for tuning in, and have a great rest of your night. And to the WCMP morning show with Joshua Miron at 7:45 and 8:45. That's when you can hear the local sports update, as well as some regional sports as well. Once again, the final, Foley 53, Pine City 37. For WCMP, I'm Ethan Game Day Gilman. Thanks so much for tuning in, and have a great rest of your night.